I've started the broadcast. I'm waiting for it to appear here. So, okay. So, good morning, everyone. Very warm welcome to this live series, which is going to run from 10th of November till 21st of November for 2 weeks, each day 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. This series is focusing on DP-700. I'm not sure, somewhere my mic. Hope everybody is able to hear us. Those who are able to hear us, you can say good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on location where you are joining from. So, in this series, we are going to cover the content for DP-700, and also we are going to share you the link for the vouchers which you can apply with Microsoft. So, those of you who has not applied, you can use our series code, and that will help you to get those vouchers. And we will also going to showcase you in some time how can you use those vouchers. Okay, so we'll begin. I'll change the screen share and I'll ask Rajendra to introduce himself. Rajendra, can you share your or maybe not your video? I think both of us need to switch on our videos. Let me do that. Somehow I'm still getting my own voice from somewhere. I'm still not able to figure out. Okay, so we are going to switch the screen on YouTube now. Okay, so now I have along with me Rajendra. He is also a Microsoft Data Platform MVP. Rajendra, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Amit. Morning, everyone. I'm Rajendra, Dataflow, fabric, and thanks for the opportunity to learn on this bit and history, Microsoft Fabric.
So with this, we will switch back to the PowerPoints. I'm going to continue this, and then I'll hand it over to Rajendra. So let me switch the screens, and we'll start today's journey. Okay, so as you know, me and Rajendra both are data platform MVP. I'm also Power BI community super user. I also run a YouTube channel, and I have a website biworld.in where you can do some free courses. Now, those who are joining this, I'm going to give you certain links so that you can utilize them to apply for vouchers. I'm somehow still getting my voice back. Just give me a second. I'm just going to close certain. I'm going to close one of the live stream. Hopefully now we'll not get the sound. Okay, so moving forward, I'm going to give you the link to apply for this one, and I also would like to welcome our moderators. So we have on the chat HDAC team who's going to moderate it for the day. Please help me in welcoming Vijaya, Mamta, Mani Deepak, and Supraja is going to join us in some of those things. I'm going to share you the link of the profile for these people so that you can follow them on LinkedIn. I'm also going to share the profile for Rajender. So with this, let's start today's journey. So those who are joining us on the YouTube, please say hi, and you can ask your questions on the chat. Me and Rajender are going to try to answer some of those questions, and also our moderators are going to try to answer some of these questions to you. So what we are doing today is the section 1 of this one, implementation and manage of analytics solution. And one of the thing which we are going to do here is basically going to explain you what DP-700 is, where you are going to get the study material, and also going to take you through some of the concepts of DP-700, which is going to help you to build some of the basic foundations of DP-700. But yes, this is not limited to DP-700. If you need, you can go ahead and appear for DP-700. So how do you decide whether you are going to have DP-600 or DP-700? So my advice would be, if you are little new to data analytics or Microsoft Fabric, appear for DP-600. That's the first one. And if you're little experienced, you have done a couple of projects already on Microsoft Fabric, then you can go ahead and appear for DP-700. So what are the things we are going to cover today? So DP-700 skill comparison versus other certificate, we are going to briefly discuss it. Brief introduction to Microsoft Fabric, understanding and managing Microsoft Fabric environment. What are the store we have, means what are the various data stores we have, and integrating data in Fabric. So we are not going to do any practical today. It's all theory classes, but all upcoming classes are going to be the practical classes where we are going to showcase you how to do it on Microsoft Fabric. So please make sure that you have your Microsoft Fabric environment set up. Last time when I done the series, I did provided you the logins, but this time we are not providing the login for the DP-700 because we are assuming it's a little difficult exam, and most of you should have an organizational login to practice for that. But still, if you need, you can get back to us in the chat windows and we will share the link. The older link I can share you where you can ask for logins. So DP-700 skill comparison versus other certificates. So we have PL300. Now PL300 is for Power BI data analyst. So let's say if you are a champion in Power BI and you are looking for a certification, you are still not reached to the entire end-to-end data analytics, which is basically from ingestion to transformation using multiple things, because we can do these things in Power BI also. So but you are not doing these things in, let's say, Lakehouses, warehouses, you are not using real-time analytics, then you are the one who can only do these things on Power BI, then you can go for PL300. For PL300, Microsoft is giving 50% discount. Again, same link is going to apply where you can apply for PL300. On Saturday, the coming Saturday, 15th of November, Bharat is doing a live webinar for this. We are going to have 6 sessions in the day, and all of them are getting shared on HDAC various channels. I have also shared that link. You have to join Bharat Inside channel for that, the Bharat Inside WhatsApp channel, and inside that you can get more information. So if you are looking for PL300, please apply for those vouchers. Use Bharat's series as your reference point, but where you are learning, and you can apply for that PL300. But yes, you are only going to get 50% voucher for PL300, not 100%. Now next comes DP600. I already explained you, if you are little early stage, you are playing an analyst engineer role, you are not into deep into data engineering, you are not into too much of ETL, transformation, PySpark, real-time analytics, then you can go ahead and give DP600. It is more about analyzing the data, creating Power BI reports, knowing a little bit of PySpark and real-time analytics. So you can go for DP-600. Now DP-203, if you have done it in the past, Azure Data Engineering, which was very similar to DP-700, is already retired. So if you have a valid certificate, that will remain valid till its end of time, means if let's say 1 year is when it's going to complete. I think it's retired in April, so if you have renewed just before April, it's going to remain till next March. But you should now go ahead and do DP-700. Anyway, we are giving you the link to apply for a free voucher. So why don't you go ahead and start preparing for this? You have to remember that you only have 60 days to appear for that. So please make sure that if you are getting this voucher, you have to utilize it before 31st of December. This is the series which we are running, which we call Fabric Days, and this is the link some of you were asking. So if you go to this link, you will be able to do that. I'm also going to explain you that link in a short while. So Fabric Data Engineer is something we are targeting. Now, if you look at DP-700 exam, so it's an intermediate level exam. Role is data engineering, and we are expecting you to be a subject matter expert in case of Microsoft Fabric if you are trying for this exam. So you need to understand ingestion and transformation, securing and managing data analytics solution, and monitoring and optimizing data analytics solution in Microsoft Fabric. The things which you should know is SQL, you need to have very good command, PySpark, real-time analytics, KQL, and the concepts of Microsoft Fabric along with security concept. You should be pretty much aware of all those. The really detailed exam, really tough questions comes into it. Most of us who are part of HDAC core group has done that along with me and Rajendra, and I can tell you that it is really tough exam compared to DP-600. So do a lot of preparation. Make sure that you take the full advantage of these learning sessions and the vouchers. Now, how the exam is divided, what are the various sections under which you are going to get questions. So implementing and managing solution, which is going to contribute, is around 30 to 35% questions going to come out from that. So in that, what you are going to have is configuration of Microsoft Fabric and Workspace setting, which we are going to discuss theoretically today. Implementation of lifecycle management in Microsoft Fabric, again we are going to discuss a little bit today. Security and governance, a little bit of that we are going to discuss today. And at the last class, orchestration process is basically pipelines and managing your data. We are going to touch that today, but we are going to have detailed discussion on that. Ingestion and transformation of data, 30 to 35%. While this is 30 to 35%, this is the portion which is going to take a lot of time. And if you see our classes also, which we have shared on Learn Amit Chandak group also, there you will find that we are covering at least 7 to 8 classes just on this topic, because it includes design and implementation, loading patterns, ingestion and transformation of batch data, ingestion and transformation of streaming data. All those things are covered. Basically all the ingestion and transformation are covered. We have SQL, we have Dataflow Gen 2, we have PySpark, Scala, and we also have KQL. All those things are there. We are not going to cover Scala, but we do going to touch PySpark in that. Monitoring Fabric items, that is the last portion would be again 30 to 35%, which is monitoring and optimizing analytics solution, which include monitoring Fabric item, identity, error resolution, optimize, and performance. Again, we are going to touch base that into our last class. Mostly it's a theoretical portion with coverage of different kind of apps which we have. Microsoft has given a couple of apps and different method for monitoring. All those we need to learn. Now, before any further delay, I would like to introduce you to Microsoft Fabric. I'm sure most of you who are attending this class are aware of what is Microsoft Fabric, but just for everybody's reference, some of you might be new and for looking for DP-600. So Microsoft Fabric is an end-to-end data platform designed for enterprise, requires a unified solution. It encompasses of data movement, please understand data movement, processing, ingestion, transformation, real-time event routing, and report building. It offers a comprehensive suite of services including data engineering, data factory, data science, real-time analytics, warehouse, and databases. So everything which you need when you think about data engineering, that I need to get a data from a source, and typically our source are not end users. Our source is ERP, CRM, the place where we get the transactional data collected from those sources to whether they are sources are, let's say, batch sources or real-time sources, where they could be small data sources, big data sources, all such sources. We get the data, we put it in a shape which we collect it, we transform it, put it in a shape where it can be easily analyzed in data analytics, and then finally analyzing it, putting it into reports and dashboard, or sending alerts and everything. All these things are covered by Microsoft Fabric. So what we are looking here is a comprehensive end-to-end data analytics platform. So whatever you need for data engineering, everything is covered into this one. Now, what is that differently Microsoft is bringing into this one, and why there is a need of such system? So if you try to look, and this is a very famous picture and I always like it because it is shown many times into the, hey, is my screen changing or not? I can only see the first screen. Can somebody watching the video confirm, is my screen changing, or you guys are still on the first screen? I can see the screen has changed. Somehow on my own screen it is not showing. Okay, so this is one of the very famous screen. It's shown in many of the Fabric webinars also, that we have more than 1,000+ tools to choose from if you want to do this data engineering. Now you can do a project itself to select those tools. So what Microsoft Fabric has done, it has limit down choices by bringing in best of the tools in the Microsoft world at all one place. So whatever you need data ingestion, transformation, data factory. You need data engineering, means data transformation, you have PySpark for scale. You need data warehouse, you love T-SQL, you want to do T-SQL based data ingestion and or transformation, you have data warehouse. You love data science, you have PySpark, Scala. You have you can do your experiments, you can build your logic there, you can call Azure AI Foundry, Azure AI algorithms, and you can run your data science. You need real-time analytics, you have Kusto in case of Azure, you have Eventhouse in case of Microsoft Fabric, and everything. But why we are doing all these things? Finally, we want to visualize, we want to create certain reports which can be looked by the upper management, the taking decision, and that's where you have Power BI. So all these things are coming under one specified platform, which is having the foundation of OneLake, means everything is going to store data at OneLake. You can have common compute, means you can use one single compute for everything, or you can have multiple compute depending on the need. Centralized security and governance, the SaaS product, and we have unified pricing and data model which you pay based on your capacity, storage and transfer charges. There is it's a very simple mechanism, and if we get time at the end of today's webinar, we are going to explain you, or today's episode we are going to explain. And then we believe in the firmly believe in the concept of one copy. What does one copy means? That in traditional warehousing solutions, what happens is we bring the data, we copy it, keep on creating the copies. Why we create copies? Because one technology don't understand another technology. I bring in data in Lakehouse, warehouse doesn't understand that format. I do everything in the warehouse, the Power BI doesn't understand the warehouse format. So I keep on creating those copies. But Microsoft Fabric doesn't believe in creating those unnecessary copies. Yes, sometimes it is necessary that we are going to create the copies, but Microsoft Fabric doesn't believe in that. So what we do in Microsoft Fabric is we have one common format, Delta format, and all the technologies either can read or write or can do both on that Delta format. It means in case of Power BI, if my data is saved on Lakehouse or warehouse, I don't need another copy of data. It can read from there and it can show me the analysis without creating another copy, and it gives me performance of import mode. So that's the basic objective here. This is another diagram, and you will see one more addition here, SQL databases, and then we also have partner workload which are coming in to help you out. SQL database, what is the role of a real-time what is the role of a OLTP database here? Because when we talk about SQL database, it's online processing database, transactional processing database. The reason for that is if you want to develop your future AI apps, you don't have to go outside Fabric. You have SQL database where you can develop it, and because it's OLTP, it cannot follow delta format. So what would happen? The data would save in the native format to give you the speed for insert, update, or delete, or for your CURD operation, but it immediately get replicated into the delta format, so that for your analysis you don't have to explicitly go ahead and write the pipelines to have the data in a format you need. Rajendra, do you want to add anything here? One second. I think we are not able to hear. Yeah, can anybody confirm they are able to hear Rajendra on YouTube?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just wanted somebody to in YouTube to confirm.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very good. You can continue.
So this is an unified platform for all the stuffs for all the different, like a data factory one, data engineering part. So today's part is 700. We are going to fully focused on the theoretical part, and the completely you are observing this data will be get insights and from there you can fetch it to any kind of an application. Either you can choose for the data factory for building the pipelines, or maybe I want to write some code, Python code or then I can put the data prospect. Maybe if I want to do something on the SQL scripting part, I the SQL databases. So along with that, if you're observing this, so the data which has been decided to avoid the data redundant, and we can try to also fetch the real-time learning, and where we can segregate the streams, which is the hard path, process further and real-time. Yes, sir.
Okay, so when we talk about Microsoft Fabric, all data is automatically stored in OneLake. So whatever transactions you are doing on Microsoft Fabric, or whatever operations you are doing Microsoft Fabric, the entire backend is one virtualized data lake. So everything is there on that one data lake, where you have uh, everything saved on that one data lake, that is OneLake. And whether you are saving it on warehouse, Lakehouse, whether you are saving it in Eventhouse, everything is getting saved, all the meta and data on OneLake. And so you have one virtualized storage which you are using for this purpose. So that's the concept of OneLake, that we have one virtualized lake. Yes, your regional security aspect is taken care at the workspace level. You can have a storage which is specific to a region at the workspace level, but for the at organization level, you will see it like just like one storage for everything. Now the concept is bring data everywhere from Microsoft Fabric. So in Microsoft Fabric we have more than 200 plus connectors, and Dataflow Gen 2 leads that with 200 plus connector, data pipelines having 40 plus connectors. So you could be on Azure Cosmos DB, Azure SQL DB, MongoDB. You could be having your data on Amazon, Azure, or Dataverse, S3. You can bring that all in. You can bring that as a copy of the data using the data factory, which include data pipelines, copy data activity, copy job, or Dataflow Gen 2. Or you can use mirroring, means the data would get mirrored from the location automatically to the Microsoft Fabric for the supported portion. Means there are certain databases which are supported for that. Or you can create shortcuts. It means you are not bringing the data, you are just looking at the data. And if it is Azure source, you are actually not even creating a cache for that. But yes, intelligent cache is created for some of the outside sources, so that you can get the speed and so that you can get for your analysis. Is the voice still breaking? Okay, can somebody confirm? I think Rajendra's voice was not. Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm not sure about the audience. You do one thing. Hopefully they will be able to hear you better.
I
now.
can hear you, but I'm not sure about the
Okay.
audience.
Can you hear me now?
I can, but I'm not sure about the others.
Okay.
Hopefully they will.
Rajendra, can you speak again?
I can hear you, but
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me now? My voice is audible.
I can, but I'm not sure.
My voice is not audible. They're saying your voice is clear, but Rajendra's is breaking.
Okay. I think once we move further, we'll
Can you
try
hear
to
me now?
sort it
Can you
that
hear
out.
me now? My voice is audible. My voice is not audible. They're saying your voice is clear, but Rajendra's is breaking.
Okay, understanding and managing the fabric environment. So how do we manage this fabric environment? So let's quickly understand, and here I will hand it over to Rajendra. And what I'll try to do is, first of all, I'll put my mic on mute and see if you're still able to hear the Rajendra. And if you're unable to do so, then I'm going to go back and do certain more changes. So I'll shift my screen share to the another screen. Give me a second. Now we shift our screen to the
and if you are unable to do so, then I'm going to go back
another
and
monitor.
certain more
Not
changes.
this.
So I'll shift my screen
Okay, and
share,
I'll make
to the other
Rajendra as
screen.
presenter
Give me a
now.
second. Now we shift our screen to the. And if you are unable to do so, then I'm going to go back
Another
and
monitor.
certain more changes.
Not this. So Rajendra, you share with now you can share and let's start. And guys, I'm going to mute myself and let's see you are still able to hear Rajendra or not.
Let me share my screen.
So Rajendra, you share with now you can share and
Amit, can you give me access to
guys,
share?
I'm going to mute myself and let's see you are still able to hear Rajendra or not.
Let me share my screen.
So Rajendra, you share with now you can share and
Amit, can you give me access to share?
I'm going to mute myself and let's see you are still able to hear Rajendra.
Yes. Let me share my screen. Let me know once it is visible. Amit, can you give me access to share?
So Rajendra, you share with now you can share and
Yes. Amit, can you give me access to share?
I'm going to mute myself and let's see you are still able to hear.
Let me know once it is visible. Great. Thank you. Let me share my screen. My voice is also audible, right?
Now you can share and
Amit, can you give me access to share? Okay. But you are able to hear. Yes. Great. Thank you. Please respond, guys, if you're able to hear me. Visible. Yes. Amit, can you give me access to share? Okay. But you're able to hear. Yes. Great. Thank you. Please respond, guys, if you're able to hear me. Visible. Yes. Can you hear me? No? Clear. But you're able to hear. Yes. Great. Thank you. Please respond, guys, if you're able to hear me. Visible. Yes. Can you hear me? No? Please respond. Clear. If you are saying clear, or maybe is there any discrepancies? Please respond, guys, if you're able to hear me. Yes. Can you hear me? No? Please respond. Amit, can I continue? If you are saying clear, or maybe is there any discrepancies? Can you hear me? No? Please respond. Amit, can I continue? If you are saying clear. Okay, then. Maybe is there any discrepancies? Thank you, Amit. So let's try to understand and manage the fabric environments. So what are the types of blocks that we are going to have once we'll get started with the Microsoft Fabric activities? So if you're observing, try to understand the basic concepts first. So here on the left, workspace and items. So here, each and every organization is going to maintain a tenant for creating the workspaces or managing the workloads and so on. So if you're observing the right hand side, the architecture part, organizational tenant is going to be one organizational tenant. Inside, we can segregate with different capacities. Assume that what is this capacity means workloads. Like a spaces utilizations part, we can try to configure the data set size. Maybe if it is going to overload with more information in such kind of a scenario, I can go with a premium capacity or fabric trial capacities. Maybe we can start with the fabric trial, and different segregations are there on the fabric environment as well. So on coming to the domain, maybe this is a new concept from the Microsoft, which has been created in the form of a folder kind of a direction, where we can try to create, assume that you are working for a projects like a sales development or marketing, or maybe if you are working for HR related projects and so on. to maintain the consistency, instead of overloading all the kind of data sets or data warehouse related, we will try to maintain each and every segregation as in one single domain, like HR domain projects, or maybe if you're working for organizational level related projects, we can configure it as a folder with organization's domain and so on. So we are better know this one. Workspace is a kind of a repository where to store all these informations, like a semantic model, we can get it stored, reports, or maybe the data warehouse related information, we can get it stored. So it will be get loaded with these information for analyzing it in a proper way to segregate these kind of domains and so on. So coming to the items part, we can have a different workloads on this each and every Microsoft Fabric capacities. Once you can create in workspace items, like as we already just gone through the architecture, like you can start with the data pipelines, or you can get start with the data lakehouse building, or data flow gen tools, or maybe the data science projects as well. Different workloads are there as per the items part. So on the right hand side, if you're observing the workspaces, like a project workspace, I can get it created. Pricing workspace, like segregation, where we can try to like maybe the deployment pipeline, if we can consider, like I can start with the development. Once the development activities will get completed, I can move also to the testing environment and then production environment. Like that, we can try to segregate the capacities and the domains in. Please try to keep in mind the tenant is going to be an organizational level, which is going to be a one tenant at a time. And then different capacities for each and every tenant also we can try to allocate, and we can proceed further as well. So these are the basic concepts which we need to get started with the Microsoft Fabric, like a tenant hierarchical part. Tenant will be first capacities, and it will get started with multiple domains on each and every capacities, and different workspaces we can get it create. Items part, as per the request, as per the need, we can get started with the different workloads from the Microsoft Fabric too. Moving on to the next slide. Fine, after understanding the concepts part, let's try to understand in each and every Fabric workspace, what are the items that we had to get it understand. So centralized environment for data engineering part. It's going to be a centralized hub once the activities will be get created, once that particular process will be get created. And it has to be mutual collaboration. Instead of one person accessing that particular workspaces, even the other data engineering team, they can also get it access with this. They can start building as per their pipelines, or they can start with the data engineering concepts and so on. This is cross collaborations which has to be get involved in this Fabric workspaces. And coming to the data access and the security part, it is main thing. It is a defensive system where we can have an access to the higher level, like a read all data, read to permissions. So we can try to configure the row level security, row RLS and so on. Maybe in the coming sessions, are going to get it in detail about the security concepts, so that the accessing part and the securities we can get it maintained on this Fabric workspaces as well. And environment management and friendly. So it will be have different environments. We can try to segregate it. So as per the development or testing and so on, as per the deployment pipeline, which the next concept will becomes up, and lifecycle management as well as deployment process. So here, as I said, right, so we can start segregating the workspaces as per our needs. So instead of separately creating the workspaces and processing the data, we can also within a single pipeline, we will get it created. And from there, we will start with the development pipeline, and from there it will be activated with the testing and then production environment, where we can start giving an access to the few users in the testing environment. And for larger audience, we can also provide getting an access to the production related workspaces and so on. And performance optimization is a very important thing. So here, when we start working on this data optimizations part, so which has been completely controlled, the data redundancy we are going to get rid of by using this OneLake optimizations, and we can get it extract only one single copy of information for any kind of a data loads or workloads, which we have discussed on our architecture part. And it is completely integrated with the OneLake ecosystem, where we can try to get rid of this information from different layers. Like it is going to maintain the structured or semi-structured or unstructured source systems. From there, as per the workload definitions, we can get it import to the any kind of modes or different items which has been get involved in our Microsoft Fabric. If you have any questions related to it, maybe my voice is not clear or something, please post it. So how it will be, maybe once I will get start, maybe tomorrow onwards we'll get start with the front end screen. If you are observing here, this is how the look and feel for the user interface once we'll get start with the Microsoft Fabric environment. So on the left hand side, if you're observing the folder options, it is for easier understanding. Like example, maybe I want to navigate to the data lake folder. I can navigate it easily to the data lake folder and try to identify what are the workloads that are available in this folder. So if we don't have any folder, it looks in this way. If you're observing the down part individually, like a data flows or maybe the semantic model or notebooks, it will be get like all in a one particular workspaces. So this is one workspace, one of the workspace. In that we have a different set of folders for each and for identical purpose. And the items part, we have the different items like workloads, which we had discussed earlier, like a Dataflow Eventhouse we can configure, or semantic layers, or data engineering concept we can try to configure. First, we will try to build the lakehouses and so on. And if you're observing this particular three option is nothing but a diamond symbol, this is nothing but a fabric content, which we will easily identify. Yes, this particular workspace is related to the fabric content, where we can get it, make use of different workspaces as per the requirement. And coming to the right hand side, fourth part, this is, as I said, right, managing. First step to get it access to the management, so like a security concepts part. So who is accessing this particular workspace? These are all the details which we can try to get visually visible to us on the manage accessing part, like what kind of permissions we have, like we have in the workspaces part, like administration, have the full access and full control on workspaces. And below, next to the level, there is a member role who can add the content and modify the content of this particular workspaces. And one more role is that the contributor role who can just view and edit the, like just observe the whatever the contents that are available in this contributor part. And last role should be an viewer's role. We will discuss in detail in the coming sessions as well. Viewer role is something like which just try to observe the front end view, like a read-only options. So this is the first defensive system where we can try to see the manage access to the workspaces or reports and what kind of a permissions they are having and so on. And coming to the workspace setting, there are a set of configurations on the workspace systems, which we are going to cover on the next slide, workspace settings part. This is the left hand side if you're observing different segregations, like a general part, which we are going to observe the complete information of the workspace and what type of license we are trying to utilize. Like if it is an, maybe if I'm assuming that if you are still using the pro license, it will be get listed the pro license, or maybe I just configure the premium capacity license, we can try to observe the premium capacities, like that is a fabric capacity license. Now currently we are calling it as a fabric capacity. And Azure connections, this is a different type of Azure connections. We can try to ADLS2 or pipelines building part, ADLS connections are there. And whatever the data sets or maybe the semantic models that are available, we can try to see all this information on the system storage bus. So how much capacity or else how much size each and every data set or semantic model has been stored on this particular. This complete information we can try to observe here. System storage, that particular workspace storage level, we can easily identify accordingly. And it has been, fabric capacity has been get involved with the Git integration as well. So maybe if you're trying to perform CI/CD pipeline, so continuous integration, continuous deployment pipeline, like maybe I want to see some historical changes of my particular workspace. In this kind of a scenario, this Git has been already integrated for each and every individual workspaces. We can get it, see the historical changes on this particular data set level or whatever the report we have published onto the workspaces as well. And coming to the OneLake, which has been already integrated, OneLake passes are there, where we can try to restrict with the redundancy of the data redundancy part. We can try to make sure that that particular workspace is going to hold unique information. Like that, the information has been segregated and we can get it configure the network security as well as even we can try to observe the monitoring options, whether the executions, like maybe if I have scheduled something, I want to see the monitoring, whether it has been successfully executed or not, maybe if there is any failure. This kind of an activities also we can easily monitor via this particular monitoring option. Once you can click it, it's a simple window part, and you can see the particular statistics accordingly, when how much time it has been taken, when it has been executed, and we can also predefine monitors has been there when we are trying to observe these monitoring capacities. Coming to the right hand side, Power BI related part. So we can also manage Spark cluster. By default, it will be comes up with an default pools. We can also, maybe I want to increase the capacity side, or I want to configure the manually. We can also get it configure these capacities, Spark related capacities manually as well. And it will be get defined with the by default pool systems as well. Or maybe if you want to do some library extensions or adding some more configurations to these packages, we can get it, add these packages on this data engineering and Spark capacity ecosystem. Like that data factory gen 2, which we can get it configure the Apache Airflow or maybe the scheduled information we can try to configure, and we can process the further information accordingly via Dataflow gen 2. These are all like administration activities which we can try to configure for each and every individual workspaces on your fabric capacities. This left-hand side, the general activities part, and try to configure. And Power BI related, which has been segregated with the data connections, or maybe I want to embed this particular website link to the internal portals or something, means we can try to get it embedded with our portals as well. Here, another set of blocks which you are observing related to the permissions. So how it is going to be, once I will get started, permissions plays a very important role. So who is accessing our data? It plays a very important role for the companies. So if you're observing the hierarchy, workspace rules are there, item level permissions are available, and even granular individual particular permissions also, as per the workloads, we can get it control. And even OneLake data access, which is a preview feature still. So we can also get it, see who is accessing our particular lake houses or data warehouse related structured information, or these informations we will get it see by using these workloads and permissions part, which is completely a hierarchical concept. So it will be activate with this different types of roles, like a row level security has been included, and even the object level security on this particular table level permissions we can try to set it out, and even the column level security also we can configure by using these security controls, and each and every level from the workspace to the individual table and even the column level we can try to get it configure these security controls. So on the right hand side, if you're observing Fabric workspace permission, which is the first defensing mechanism where we can try to get it configure workspace level, as I said, right? Administrator, member, contributor, and the viewer. Next, the role should be on the Fabric items related, like we discussed already. Different items, workloads are there. Like example, maybe I want to get start with the Azure Data Factory or Dataflow Gen 2. We can get it configure the tables with the individual permissions as well. And coming to the inside the Fabric, the Lakehouse level, we can try to segregate the, still a preview features are there. So we can segregate the semantic model level or a Lakehouse level or even the notebooks level also, we can get it configure the permissions. And all this set will be get it added on the OneLake ecosystems part only. Like either you can take it as a Lakehouse or warehouse, which is another workload, or semantic model, it will be get added as an OneLake part. This is what I said, CI/CD pipeline in Microsoft Fabric. So there are two parts here, Git integration part, CI/CD integration and the deployment. Maybe, as I said, right, if we want to see the historical changes on this particular or history of this particular data set, that is a semantic model, or maybe the report level configurations. These are all, as a development part, we will get to know what is the history of this particular workloads. Sometimes if you want to process with this one layer to the another layer by creating the pipelines we have in the workspaces, each and every workspace, we can also create the deployment pipelines. So we can assign the workspaces with a proper deployment alignment in Microsoft Fabric. Like example, what is this deployment pipeline? So I have completed one report development and I have published it onto the services cloud-based environment. And from there, I want to give an access. So before giving an access to someone, I want to test it. For the testing part, I will also create a separate workspace. Now, with the help of this deployment pipeline, we no need to create it as a separate workspace. So we can use this deployment pipeline mechanism to navigate automatically from one environment to the another environment. From development to the testing, I can create it as a separate pipeline. So from testing, maybe I can give it a permissions to some users to test this particular report or particular semantic model, which has been designed. And from there, I can move it automatically once it has been tested to the next level of environment to the global audience, that is the production environment. Like that, we can compare from one stage to the another stage. You don't need to create an individual workspaces. One workspace is fine, where we can try to trigger from one to the another by using this deployment pipeline as well. And we can try to compare the changes from one layer or one stage to the another stage as well. What is the content from the development, whether this has been changes, has been pulled to the testing or not. We can try to compare it. If not matching, we can just try to cross verify which is not matching from the previous environment to the current environment. This kind of a mechanism is also available while working on this deployment pipelines. So we can set it as a rules like whom we have to share that particular accessing part. So deployment pipeline rules are this specifically. So once we will get work on the further sessions, right, we'll get to know what kind of a rules we can try to set it for this deployment pipelines as well. And these are all automation part. Programmatically, it will work as per the Fabric REST API. So we can automate the complete process. So manual interruption will not be there once it will move to the production environment. Maybe if the development part, I add some changes, I can move those changes to the development, and from there, automatically with this program REST APIs, Fabric REST APIs, we can move it from one environment to the another environment as well. So we just have to have something like a commit option is that we can try to trigger, and it will use the updated information on all the other pipelines too, from the development to the testing and testing to the production environment as well. Fine. Amit, do you want to add something here? Shall I move to the next slide? Okay. Coming to this, inject and store data in Fabric, there are different ways, if you are observing, different ways from the low-code platform, like a Dataflow Gen 2. Maybe whoever familiar with Power BI, Power Query Editor, Power BI Desktop level Power Query Editor, these are all activities we can try to get it work on the Dataflow's Gen 2. So maybe if you are working with the larger data models and so on, we can try to configure Dataflow Gen 2. So same feel and look, which you are observing the Power Query Editor on your Power BI Desktop. So we can try to get it extract or inject the data via Dataflow Gen 2 as well. So which is almost as online Power Query Editor, we will call it. Or maybe I'm very good at data factory pipeline building. So engineering stuff, we can try to use like flow model. We can try to make use of data factory pipelines also. So it is almost Azure Data Factory, we will call it earlier. So it has been integrated in Microsoft Fabric. We are calling it as a data factory pipelines as well. So we can inject the data via pipelines. So maybe in the tomorrow session, we'll showcase to you how we are trying to inject the data with sample data. And maybe if you want to do some cleansing activities, which is an unstructured source systems like JSON or XML files, I can also do some cleansing operations, the data injection operations via notebooks too. So different languages. So maybe if you are saying the notebooks, what are the languages it is supporting? It is supporting different languages as per our development part. If I'm very good at PySpark, it will be get activated the PySpark by default, or maybe I'm very good at some another language like a R or some other like SQL, maybe SQL script writing. I can also get it activate this notebook with an SQL script writing as well. So sometimes we will get a chance to get it extract the data from external source systems. So in this kind of a scenario, we can try to make use of the shortcut. So that shortcut is something like it's not going to load it onto the Fabric workloads. It will directly import, directly pull that information from external source systems like example, Amazon S3 bucket, or maybe if you are using this Google GCPs and so on, we can try to import some external source systems also into this Fabric Fabric ingestion part. And mirroring is nothing but to get rid of this duplications part and to directly pull this information into your workspaces. We can try to make use of the mirroring concept also. Some of the source systems, like example, Cosmos DB is there for mirroring concept, and some more new source systems will be get added in the future part for mirroring. So to get rid of the duplication, we can directly pull that information to the Fabric workspaces and Lakehouses, and then we can try to use for different workloads as per the mechanism. Suppose maybe if I'm playing with the real-time data like IoT source systems, or maybe if you're working with the changes, continuous changes, real-time source systems like Azure, Event Hubs, and so on, it will also get works with the ingestion part, event streams too. We can build the event stream, and inside we have the different languages like KQL language. We can make use of it, and we can try to do further analysis and real-time stuff building based on the configurations. Direct upload files is also available. We can also flat files and so on. We can also upload it onto this as per the ingestions part, like file source systems. These are the different ways to inject the data into your Fabric environment. Fine, where it is going to store. So you are trying to say that you can inject the different ways, multiple ways, which have been discussed earlier slide, where the storage option, what are the kind of storage options that we are going to have it. Lakehouse, data warehouse, SQL database, and Eventhouse as KQL. Lakehouse is something the first, whenever you can get started with the data engineering project for the data engineering team, Lakehouse is the first, and where we can try to make use of the further analysis by building the notebook. We can also create the notebooks. In tomorrow's discussion, we will discuss about how we are going to get it connect with the Lakehouses. And we will also showcase where the notebook option will be get enabled on your Lakehouses part 2. This is the first mechanism where we can try to create the first Lakehouses, and from there, we can try to create the notebooks, and we can get it familiar with the further enhancements like SQL endpoints, or maybe we can try to write some SQL scripting and so on in the Lakehouse environment part itself. It's one of the Explorer where we can try to see the complete option as like an SSMS studio, SQL Server Management Studio. You can extract the files or like a workspaces on that particular workloads part, or maybe we can try to get it import the shortcut source kind of an extraction also via Lakehouse. Maybe if you are playing with something like directly, if you want to build a data warehouse, we can build the data warehouse by get connect to those options. So it's something like a traditional a relational database where we can try to write the queries, and we can try to further historical changes. We can try to get it create via different schemas, and we can create, like further enhancements part. We can also prepare the ad hoc reports as well. And SQL database is something like maybe I want to write an SQL script which has been handled with the 4 TB of source storage mechanism, 4 TB, and we can try to make use of this via SQL scripting as well. And coming to the Eventhouse here, as I said, event stream is something like for the ingestion. If you're observing our previous slide, event stream is something like for the data ingestion part we are going to use. Eventhouse is where inside the Eventhouse, we can create the different multiple databases too. That is the KQL databases, Custo query language. So even it is supporting T-SQL, transaction SQL, but it's mostly we are going to use on the Eventhouse part. We can create multiple databases, that is the Custo query language databases. And from there, we can write the queries, that is the KQL queries. And from there, we can try to inject the data. And the data completely will be stored in the OneLake only. Okay, whatever I mentioned in the storage options part, Lakehouse, data warehouse, KQL, and SQL databases part, it will get stored there. And from there, we can get it and has a real-time dashboard because it's a streaming source systems. And we can also proceed further the dashboard building accordingly. Fine. What are the things that we have to choose while doing the data ingestion? So how much size of data volumes we are trying to inject? That one is we have to keep in mind while working on choosing the capacity ingestion method. If you're working with the very larger models, then we have to preferably make use of data pipelines. Pipelines will be very helpful to schedule it as well as to configure from one level to the another level. And also check the data types. So what type of a data types that we are trying to utilize. And maybe if it is an unstructured source system, we have to get it configure the data types properly to get it further analysis and so on. And the ingestion frequency. So what is the frequency ranges? Maybe every 1 hour or hourly basis, like minutes basis, we have to schedule the frequency of the ingestion. We have to cross-verify that. And coming to the personas and development skill set, so it has been vast items are there. So as per our convenient, as per the source system which we are trying to utilize, we had to choose those personas only. So personas in the sense, so as I said, right, we have the data factories or data engineering, data science related, or maybe if you're working on the real-time projects, we have to choose the right personas for the development build. And it has been completely integrated with all ecosystems, which we already discussed earlier. And coming to the main important thing that we have to keep in mind, the performance, how much time it is trying to utilize for one layer to the another layer if you're working on this performance concept as well. And there are huge data transformations we can try to implement, ETL activities. We already discussed the extraction activities with different phase. And coming to the transformations, we can try to perform at any kind of personas. Maybe if you are consider this data flow gen 2, we can make use of all M functions and data factories. We can try to create the pipelines and configuring with some parameters and variables. And by defining something like a group by functionalities or aggregating with some more data, I mean like get rid of the duplicating information by using some aggregating activities like sum, average, and so on. We can try to perform internally by choosing those specified personas. So we had to choose this in a specific method, size, type of the, data volume size, how much we are trying to utilize, and it will continuously integrated with any kind of an ecosystem. And performance prospect is very important. And choosing the transformations, the aggregating the data part, we have to specifically work through on these transformations too. Coming to the considerations, as I said, which has been added few more addition to it. So other than this read or write permissions part, and security layer at each and every level, it has been segregated, whether we can choose it as a warehouse, which we can try to get it configure the row level securities or object level securities or column, even the column level securities has been get it included. And even we can try to showcase advanced analytics systems as well as ad hoc report building as well. We can try to configure via these considerations. So whenever, if you want to choose, so again, adding to the few more information, security layer, we need to get it understand. So at what level we want to get it configure the security layer to get it access this particular data set or report, or maybe the particular warehouses which we have built to the further access building. And along with the ingestion latency, we had to cross verify how much latency between one layer to the another layer. We had to cross verification as well, how it has been injected from one level to the another level. Amit, do you want me to cover this data integration in Fabric or? Sure. Yeah, I will give an overview for the data integration part. As I said, right, it has been integrated at any kind of a layer. So you can get started with the data factory workloads, or inside, maybe I want to get started with the online Power Query within a Dataflow Gen 2. Even we can try to build the pipeline. You can schedule the pipeline and you can get it configured there. And maybe if I'm familiar with the notebook writings like PySpark coding building for the data ingestion part and cleansing and further analysis like advanced statistical analysis, I can also get it configured from the Lakehouse, this notebooks configuration also. So as per the projects which we are going to work on in real time, we can get it configure these integrations. It's not like randomly navigate and try to cross verify these, how it is going to work and so on, not like that. So we have to get it, check which one is feasible for our project and we can make use of it. Suppose example, how can I choose the real time? When can I choose the real time intelligence? Well, maybe if you are working on the real time projects, the real time data, like a streaming data source systems, we can try to get it configured as an event stream for the data ingestion part. And inside the event stream, we can get it also configured as a set for storage, event houses inside multiple SQL databases, we can get it created and we can proceed further. Like that, we can try to preferably we can choose. So there is a key terms name called cold path and a hot path. Hot path is something like if you're working on a streaming source system, like a live data. Cold path is something like maybe the data, I can schedule it, I can refresh, I can do the refreshes on my own. We can go with the cold path ecosystems too, like a Dataflow, we can preferably use it, or pipelines we can build it, or notebooks also we can preferably make use of for the data ingestion, data integrations part. This is how the look and feel for the pipeline. So whoever familiar with already the Azure data flows, data factories, we can see the copy data commands are there. Maybe if there is any failure control ecosystem is there. And from there to trigger the next level of layer, it's a kind of a simple connections, the pipeline buildings part. And even we can try to get it configure this notebooks via parameters, and then below, which you are seeing some kind of a settings and the variable configurations too. And the output we can try to view in the form of that particular JSON kind of a format. So once you can click on this output mechanism, we can see the complete layer, whether the data has been transferred or not. And for the notification alerts part, we can easily identify once the successfully executed from one level to the another level, we can easily get it notified with a success notification as well. So these are the different, mechanism part, multiple transformations, data transformations that will be get supported. And you can also create the parameters for temporary part to call the another data flow, another pipeline. And from there, it will be get executed to notebooks. Maybe if you can configure to the notebooks, or another to load it to the destination table, we can get it configured to the destination metadata tables too. It looks in this way. So where we are going to write the code in the sense. So if you're observing on the right-hand side, we'll not discuss about the left-hand side, the theoretical stuff. By default, you're seeing here the PySpark coding. So I'm very good at the PySpark writing the code. I can choose this as an PySpark, or maybe if I can choose some another, I'm not good at PySpark, the development part. I can also choose and prefer some another languages which are supporting on your workloads. Like this particular notebook workload. To execute the Spark, which has been language supported, PySpark or Scala, R language, and even the HTML, SQL language is also included. SQL is also get supported there. And it will be get integrated with the data processing part. So where from one layer to the another layer, like Excel mode wise, we can try to execute it first cell, second cell, okay? Next cell, third cell, and so on. And even sometimes, right, if you want to observe what is a Spark user interface mechanism, how it has been executed, DAG mechanism, data acyclic graphs. So these mechanisms also from each and every cell configurations where we can monitor the workloads, the backend executions part, how much time the record processing has been taken from one to the another to navigate to the another steps and so on. So it is easy to schedule these options, this particular notebooks, which you are observing on the right hand side, transform sales data. And even if you want to see some advanced statistical analysis, we can also build some AI ML models accordingly. So we can easily configure this AML model, the statistical mechanisms easily. And the Spark integration, as I said, we can configure the Spark integration for each and every cell, and we can see the user interface for the Spark, and we can get it navigate, and we can see the direct acyclic graph from what is the recording time, record run time for each and every rows which has been executed for cell-based manner. So if you're observing this Fabric real-time intelligence, this is a separate architecture, which we discussed earlier. That is a different data, Microsoft Fabric related. Individually, maybe if you are working on the real-time intelligence part, this is the front-end look, like architecture part. Maybe if you are working with the real-time intelligence, source systems, maybe if you get connected to the CDC, change data capture wise, PostgreSQL source system, or Azure ad hoc reports, or Azure IoT devices, we can get it extract with the different source system, live source systems. So the ingestion mechanism is we can get it, as we discussed earlier, from the event stream. We can try to inject the data, but it is not a storage layer, ingestion part only for further instruct the data to the Eventhouse. So if you're observing the data ingestion, we can try to make use of, and the data will be get stored in not in the Eventhouse. In the Eventhouse, we can get it create KQL databases. So Eventhouse is also not a database. Inside the Eventhouse, we are going to create KQL databases. In that KQL database, it will be get stored, and further we can see the further analysis via this Power BI, or even we can try to get it configure the real-time intelligence dashboards too. And backend, if you want to write the query, so you said something like a KQL database, right? Where we are going to write the KQL databases. So at the inside the event house, as I said, the KQL database part, we can get it configure the KQL query set. And from there, you can write the queries. You can run the queries, whatever. The language is very simple. Not like we can write the select star from this particular table. You can just have the simple commands while writing the KQL command data source systems. It's for running your, how the processing is going on, for seeing the data, how it has been executed and so on. We can use this KQL databases too. So coming to this activator, it is something like I want to see the triggers, like maybe if there is some condition set as an kind of a stage, it has been exceeded that particular value. I want to trigger this kind of an alert notification. So to the someone like who is the developer, the development part. So we can also automate this trigger configuration with the 3 different modes. We can configure via MS Teams, or even you can try to send an email if the border has been exceeded, that particular value has been exceeded, or else maybe the value has been depleted very lower. We can configure accordingly. So if it is in this proper range, we don't need to configure. We will not get any alert mechanism. If it is exceeds, or else maybe if it is not expected that particular value, we can also configure via MS Teams. We can see the alert notification via emails, and even we can also Fabric workloads also, we can get it configured via activator. So that is nothing but previously we'll call it as an, now we are calling it as an activator. Previously we don't have an alert mechanism, data alert mechanism. So for these preparations, if you're observing here, so Amit, can you please discuss about this DP-700 exam part?
Yeah, so in case you might heard echo, I may mute one of us. So basically, I'm still hopeful that everybody of you are able to hear me. Just need one more kind of confirmation you can hear me. And we have to also take one question, Rajinder, which is coming into the chat window. That what's the difference between using PySpark and Spark SQL. So these are the various links. So Fabric Database link I already shared. Then if you want willing to attend these sessions from other MVPs, means it's not me or Rajinder or Bharat who are doing these individual efforts. There are many other MVPs who are doing these efforts, and we understand that we may not be cover all the aspects, and you might need little more help. And sometimes this help is more because you understand few people a little better than you understand some me or Rajinder. So you would like have different flavor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share this here, and this is the link which is going to give you all these Fabric Database sessions. And there are certain sessions which happens on Reactor, and you might have seen me and Rajinder doing session in Reactor on the past. But in case you want to attend those Reactor sessions, so I have also given the Reactor session links. So Reactor is the one of the channel where these Fabric Database is going. Fabric Database is happening on personal channels like my channel, Rajinder's channels, Bharat's channel, where we are doing these efforts. We are bringing other MVPs also to help you out. And feel free to ask question to any one of us on LinkedIn if you are stuck with DP-700. We have individual groups like HDAC. I have a WhatsApp group which I also shared, Learn Power BI with Amit Chandak. Then Bharat also shared his group, Bharat Insights. And similarly, Rajinder, if you have some WhatsApp group, you can also share so that you can ask the questions there. Now, this scan, if you do Fabric Database, you should be able to reach. I'm going to showcase you, and I'm going to share my screen, a little different screen, so that you guys know how to fill that form. And to do that, let me switch to another monitor. So hopefully you will be now able to see another monitor, and this is the link which we are giving you for Fabric Database, 4th November to 31st December. This is the challenge which is ongoing. Microsoft want you to become either a DP-600 or a 700. So that's where they are doing. So you get, you can register for the sessions. If you are a student, then you have a link. If you want in Spanish or Portuguese, you have the link. Full schedule you have been available. And this is the most important link you guys were waiting for, request for 100% DP-600 and 700 vouchers. My request would be you should apply for this after you attend the complete series, either from me or from Rajinder or from any other MVPs. But yes, because it may be first come first serve, so definitely you can apply against our series. So I'll let you know how to fill in that. But if you are planning for DP-PL300 or DP-900, you can do that also. You will get only 50%. Now, to do that, we are also doing a series PL300. I just wanted to announce that we are going to have an in-person in Hyderabad on 29th November. Wait for the announcement in HDSC group as well as learn Amit Chandak. So we are going to have an in-person also for DP-700. Again, the link would remain same to apply the vouchers, but we are going to guide you through that one, and you will see most of our Hyderabad MVPs joining that also to help you out. Then you have the skill challenges to make sure that you are well prepared, and then you have study groups. And similarly, there are other contests going on. Do participate in that if you are like database contest, or contest for students, or notebook contest, or weekly quick quiz challenge. So also participate in that. Now I'll click on this 100% discount voucher, and if you look at this 100% discount voucher form, you need to provide certain informations. So I'll let you know what information: country and region from where you are belonging. DP-600 and 700 already explained you. If you are early stage in Fabric, please prefer DP-600. If you are little mature, you have done multiple projects, DP-700. Why do you want to get certified with Fabric? Because Fabric certification a lot for us, so you can have something around that. Now, what challenge did you complete, or which session do you attend? So you have to mention this session particularly. Any of the videos you can mention, or you can talk about Learn Fabric Database by Amit Chandak and Rajinder. So you can mention that. When do you plan to take exam? Be specific. Please mention this November or December, whenever you want it to take, because only we have vouchers till December. How will you study for exam to ensure you will pass? You will say that we will watch videos from various channels, and I'm going to give you also two links of DP-600 and 700, which is already I've shared on my Learn Power BI WhatsApp channel, which are basically 10 and 12 hours of video, which will help you at the end of the preparation. You should watch them before, let's say, giving exam, let's say 4 or 5 days before you should start watching. They are pretty longer videos, so you will not be able to cover. Other than that, you can watch my complete series, you can watch Rajinder's video, or you can watch the series which we are doing right now, which will also help you into pass. So you can say we are watching the contents from MVP super user to make sure that we pass it. How did you hear about this? You can take my name or Rajendra's name, or you can say we are attending this Learn Learn or Fabric Data Days from Amit and Rajendra, and that's where we heard it. And do you work for a Microsoft partner organization? If you are working for a partner organization, you have to write down yes and your partner organization name. Like I work for a partner organization, that's why I'm going to write. If you are a student, you can skip that. Do you commit you are going to get Fabric certified by December? You have to commit that, otherwise you are not going to get it. And all the preparation should be there to get it certified, and you are top performer. So these are the details which you need to fill in. If you still feel that you need further more details, we can help you out. And now I would like to take up some questions. So Rajinder, there was one question which I think we can address together. Was there basically, are you speaking?
Yeah. I just posted answer to Ramakrishna. He asked about SQL Spark and PySpark. What is the difference in performance part? I just posted in the chat.
Yeah. So
hope Ramakrishna it is answered.
Yeah. So there is no difference, if I understand that correctly. The only thing which I don't recommend people to switch between those things in the same workbook. If possibly, if you are continuing with PySpark, continue with PySpark. If you are doing PySpark SQL, continue with Spark SQL. Native is Scala, so Spark engine was written in Scala. So if you wanted to do that, that's a little native, but it's not going to make any difference in the performance. I did have tested with little complex queries, and we have written the same code in PySpark. We haven't seen any big differences or any observable differences. It's just the what you love. Like I especially came from a T-SQL background, so I prefer writing down those complex SQL, one inside another one, and little one. But yes, all the new guys who are working under me, they typically prefer writing down PySpark code because they coming from little programming background and they understand. It's just a choice which you are making. So we are welcoming more questions, but do continue this series. It's not ending today. I'm just giving you the video for the next one, but we are going to continue for next 9 more days. Today's session is finished. And now there are going to be a lot of practicals where we will take you through the Microsoft Fabric. So get ready with that. And if you are not having that logins and you still wanted to have that, I think you can let me know on Learn Power BI. I'm going to share the link again to you for applying the logins. We have given logins in the past, and we have recently disabled some of those logins because we thought that that was enough time for everyone who was doing that effort to have that. But if you are part of this group, we will happy to provide you logins to practice. Again, it is based on the trial capacity availability. If they expire, we will not be able to extend it further, but definitely we'll ready to help you out there. So keep on posting your questions. You can ping me, Rajendra, or any of our moderators into the on LinkedIn or any place you find us. We'll happy to answer you and look forward to see you in this series and all other Fabric Data Days series is wherever you can find out in your time zone done by other MVPs. Please go ahead and join those and take the full advantage. I really appreciate everybody attending early morning and those who are going to continue this series. I thank all of them to attend. I special thank to Rajendra who has always been helpful whenever we ask, and he has if you are in Hyderabad, you might be knowing he has his own fan following. He explains it so good. I really appreciate taking out time early morning and helping us out, and going to help us tomorrow again. And then please wait for the real-time series. Surya Teja from Microsoft is going to join us for those, and then we will continue this till next week. Thanks to our moderators who are also going to help you answering some of the questions. Do reach out to Vijaya, Mamta, Supraja and Mani Deepak for any questions you have. I have shared their profiles also that previously. How do we do the cost estimation? See, we have a very good thing which is known as Fabric Cost Estimator, and these days we are using Fabric Cost Estimator primarily, which is there. I think initially if you would have answered me 1.5 years back or even 1 year back, I would have said use the trial capacity, learn from that. But now we have this very good tool which is Fabric Capacity Estimator, which you can use and you can estimate your capacities. And I have given a video little above where I did have discussed cost little more in details. We have not done I think I have not done a video on how to use Fabric Capacity Estimator. Rajendra, have you done any video on that?
No.
Okay, so so that video is due. I think most probably me and Rajendra or some of us we're going to cover that Fabric Capacity Estimator for you, how to use that. But for today's session, we are wrapping it up. Thanks all. Thanks for joining this morning. Continue to ask the questions in chat window or videos or on the tab group. Thank you all.